Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're going to talk about a few players that had some concerning week ones. And do we think this is a thing that, are we concerned going forward, right? Week one, it's hard to say. It's one game. This could happen week 7. You never think anything of it. But week one, it's a pretty big deal in a lot of people's minds. So you end up seeing some people drop players maybe they shouldn't, which is always great. I love when people drop players they shouldn't. I'll pick them up all day. But we're going to talk about a couple guys here. Before we do that, make sure you guys go check us out on Twitter at the FF Profit or Instagram at fantasyfootballprofit.com, youtube.com/fantasyfootballprofit as well. Check us out, all those different places. You see, Jeff, I'm sporting the beautiful Michigan National Championship hat.
I know you're just trying to get a rise out of me. The co-championship hat.
Nebraska didn't exist that year. They kicked the ball against Missouri. I remember it clearly. That should not have counted as a touchdown. I was like 11 watching that game, and I remember clearly that was a kick ball, and Nebraska should have had a loss and never should have had a chance to share a national championship. It was Michigan all the way. Charles Woodson, Brian Greasy.
I do love Charles Woodson.
Exactly. You were a Michigan fan that year.
I was.
You were.
I was.
Yeah, exactly. So, Michigan State is a big game this weekend playing against Miami.
You know what? Shout out to Mel Tucker, man. He's doing a good job. You have to admit. Yeah. I thought we were going to suck this year, but Michigan State.
You still have
some hope.
You still got a good chance to suck. It's all good.
I mean, might not be great, but at the same time, I like what he's doing. He's building a program. I think they'll be good.
But all right, people don't care about Michigan State football.
No, they really don't.
So, all right, let's talk about some players we're concerned about, possibly, or are we not concerned? So, first guy I was going to bring up is Zeke. We talked about Zeke on our mailbag show a little bit, and if we were concerned or not. I am not. Honestly, not concerned yet. Give me a bad week 2, I might be concerned. How are you feeling though, Jeff, right now about Zeke? I'm good. I'm still good. I feel, if I'm a Zeke owner, I don't feel great, but I feel decent. I'll say I feel decent. I'm just waiting for some confirmation this week that I didn't do anything terrible in drafting them.
Yeah, I think I'm worrying more than you are. And I'll give you this. At Tampa Bay, not an easy game, right? And you're on week 1. What worries me the most, though, is I realized last year, too, with Dak out, it's a different offense. But going from that, which we were very disappointed, going to week 1 and him only getting 11 carries, which he didn't do anything with. I mean, yeah, I guess it was okay, but he didn't do a whole lot. And then, it's pretty apparent that he's not a big part of the passing game. And that is what freaks me out, because they're going to be passing a lot. They're so deadly on there that it does feel like this year, and it would have been last year too, that the running game will be secondary. And Zeke used to look amazing, but he would get bulk carries. So It does worry me that, and I don't even know what it's going to look like down in the goal line. Like with that many, it looked like he was very comfortable throwing to Gallup. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb and Cooper look like monsters. So, why wouldn't you spread it out? I mean, I think he'll be okay, but I don't know if he's going to be Zeke of old. And that's what I'm kind of worried about. But right now, you can't really do anything about it, right? So you're hoping for him to bounce back. And then after a few games, you can probably figure out what it is. And at that point, you can decide if it's time to panic and try to sell. But right now you have to hold and you have to just wish for the best. So there's not much you can do about it at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much. But what about James Robinson?
Very
on that one. Right. Lackluster week 1. Carlos Hyde had more carries. You know what? To be honest, Carlos Hyde is faster than James Robinson. I'm not even joking. He just is. James Robinson is not that great. He's a mediocre NFL running back. I have said that a few times on comments on Instagram. I get in the comments too much, Jeff. I need to stop that. I've said he's a mediocre running back. I get yelled at a lot when I say that, but I believe it. And I don't think it's going to change. if I'm a James Robinson owner, which I am basically not at all, because there's no point. I'd be extremely worried right now. I'd go trade him if you can get anything for him. Trade him right now if he has any value left, because that value is going to be gone. So go trade him. So you're with me.
I am definitely worried about it. I'm worried about that whole team. Nothing coming out of there. Yeah, it seems like a disaster waiting to happen. And
how long until Urban takes that USC job?
Oh, I know, right? I don't know what to expect. And James Robinson only got 5 carries. I don't really know how that happens when you do as well as you did last year and you don't have any. It didn't look like they had much of a game plan anyway. So I am worried, and it's mostly about the team. I'm not going to go quite as hard on James Robinson, but if they went back and all of a sudden they went run heavy with him like they did last year, he would be fine. But they're not playing that way, at least in game 1. And it does not feel like Urban Meyer wants to. And whatever he wants, that's what's going to happen until they fire him or he leaves for USC. So right. I'm definitely worried about that one.
What about Julio Jones? Didn't really do much in his debut there with the Titans.
I'm less worried about Julio. I think a lot of it has to do with he's only played with one quarterback. I mean, he's used to Matty Ice. I think he needs a couple of games to get used to Tannehill. They don't throw it as much, but I think eventually they'll get on the same page. And especially for the price you paid for Julio, he wasn't. You didn't get him in the top 15 more than likely. Right. So I'm okay knowing that he's going to have a slow start, and I don't think he's going to be as consistent as he once was. That's not why you're drafting him. True. So if you drafted him with like that clear, with the clear eyes saying, okay, he's not going to be the guy he was 3 years ago, then I think he'll bounce back. I'm not as worried about him right now.
And this is normal for Julio. He's had plenty of bad games, right? That's not a surprise. It's just it happens week 1, so it looks a little worse, right? That's the only difference. It happened week 1. So I wouldn't be too concerned yet. I think he's probably fine. Yeah, Julio. I think he still has it.
Yeah, and they played poorly overall. I mean, AJ Brown, the only reason he saved it because he caught a touchdown, but there wasn't a whole lot going on. Derrick Henry didn't even look very good. So I would pump the brakes on that offense in general.
Yeah. What about Mike Evans? Not a great week 1 for him. Antonio Brown played well. Chris Godwin played well. Rob Gronkowski played well. Mike Evans didn't have much there. So Mike Evans, concern?
I won't go that far. He will catch touchdowns during the year. I think he's going to be more up and down this year than he was last. And that's why, we cautioned you against drafting him as high as he was, right? It wasn't the fact that I deny the talent or what he can bring. It is with everyone else there, what can you expect on a week-to-week basis? And that's why I thought Godwin was better, which currently he is, but every once in a while Evans will be. And AB was going so far down. That's why we said keep grabbing him. So I right now you can't there's nowhere to go on this one. I think you ride this one out and eventually he will have like a 3 touchdown game and you'll be ecstatic, but just be ready for the roller coaster. And hopefully he's more of like a number 2 wide receiver. Hopefully you have someone else as well, because he'll be a Rocky. If he's starting as number 1, he'll definitely be more of a Rocky guy, but the talent is there. It's not like he's going to fall off a cliff, but yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be different. But I guess I was expecting that going in. So I don't know are you panicking or do you have a different outlook?
I'm like, I wasn't drafting him because this is what I expected. So I don't even say, so if I put myself in Mike Evans owner's shoes, right? I drafted Mike Evans as my wide receiver 2. Hopefully he's not your 1. He's your 1.
He's gonna be 1 on some people.
On some, he definitely will be. So if he's your 1, you know what? I am actually very concerned if he's my wide receiver 1. I don't like it. I want to trade him if I can get anything for him because he is not going to be consistent.
Okay, you have to be a little more precise on this one. When you say you can get anything for him, he's still a very talented guy and people will want him. What will you be going out and looking for?
Let me look at some players here. I gotta get a list.
Give me a couple players because it gets really dicey when you start talking about this early of a trade for this high of a value guy, right? Because he will definitely have some huge games, right? You agree with that?
He'll have a couple, but let's see here. All right, so players. Let's say I'm just gonna look at this week's ranks and players below him that maybe I might want. All right. Do I want? Well, shoot. If you could, I mean, I don't think you can pull this off. In the ranks, Allen Robinson's below him this week. Allen Robinson had a bad week too, right? But I'd rather have Allen Robinson all day.
That's an interesting one. You might be able to pull that one off.
I'd rather have Allen Robinson. I'd rather have Tyler Lockett.
I think you could give. Honestly, I think you can get both those guys.
And I would want either one of those guys. In one more week, I might want Adam Thielen more if Adam Thielen plays well again. If Evans doesn't, if Adam Thielen plays well again, be like, all right, we were just down on Thielen. He couldn't be there. He was better than we thought. You're not going to you could have traded Mike Evans and got Amari Cooper a week ago, but you can't do that now. So I would definitely rather have Amari, but you're not going to pull that off anymore.
How are you feeling about? I'll expand it and Cooper Kupp and Woods on the Rams. Woods obviously didn't have as good of a game. Cooper looked good.
So I think Cooper Kupp's interesting. It feels like might be a connection there with Stafford a little bit. So Cooper Kupp's interesting. I don't think I want I think there's just the ball's going to go around a lot there. Honestly, I might rather have Cooper Kupp than Mike Evans. I'm close on that one, to be honest.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I'm just not a Mike Evans fan anymore, which is sad because he led me to a couple titles back in the day. So, but sorry, I moved on, Mike. I moved on.
I'm trying to think who else you might be able to get for him. I think the Keenan Allen, probably not at this point.
You probably can't get Keenan Allen. I would love to get Keenan Allen for him, but I don't think that you're going to pull that off. There's not a lot. Like I'm not going to go too crazy.
I'm looking for someone that.
I probably would want Cooper Kupp over him. If some crazy person would give you Chris Godwin for him, I'd love that, but that's not going to happen.
That'd be great.
DJ Moore. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that.
What about? Okay, I don't think this will happen. But what if he had a good game, maybe you could go for people panicking about Atlanta and make some sort of a trade for Kelvin Ridley. But
it depends on your league and how
that probably kind of happen.
What kind of people you have in your league.
Yeah, that's me kind of daydreaming.
Honestly, I'd trade Mike Evans for Terry McLaurin all day.
I mean, I knew you would say that.
Yeah, all day long. So all right, let's say some other guys. How about we talked about Saquon a little bit in the last episode. I'm not concerned yet. I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm very concerned. Like I was already concerned about Zeke. You think I'm not concerned about Saquon?
Okay. And here's the difference is that offense really sucks. Dallas actually has a good offense.
Yeah. Bad offense coming off an injury. Everything is stacking up against.
There's concerns. There's concerns. I would take a shot. If
how many good games do you think you're going to get out of him? This is where I'm
hoping.
My mind is just like that team.
I know. I'm just hoping you get half of the games and they're all the last half.
Right.
I feel like this has to come together a little more, right? Galladay was hurt a lot. Saquon didn't practice. You feel like Ingram's still hurt, which I guess is probably always going to happen. I feel like maybe if they get a little, they're together a little bit more, it can come together. So it's at least decent enough for Saquon to be good. I'm still right now. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Your explanation actually makes me panic more.
I'm trying to be optimistic. I know.
The more you talk, the more I was like, oh my God.
The funny thing is, Jeff,
get rid of him.
So Jeff, the funny thing is Saquon, one of our do not draft. Mike Evans, do not draft, I guess Alvin Kamara, you were wrong on Alvin, but it changed once we knew Jameis was the starter. That was if Taysom.
If Taysom won the job, that is where I was going to say.
That's where you were.
More of a second round guy.
Yeah, that's where you were at that point. But so far, we got some hate, and Terry McLaurin. I can't say right now that's been great. So I mean, week one wasn't, it was just whatever, right? It wasn't that amazing. I'll say. And I can't remember. You had one more. We had one more on that list, but so far, should have listed the other guy. What do we have? Myles Gaskin. Yeah, he didn't really do much. He was whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Another one here. Green Bay Packers in general, the whole team, all of their offensive weapons.
For all three of them?
Yeah. Rodgers, Adams, and Jones.
Definitely not panicking on that one at all. They're about to bounce back guaranteed this week against Detroit.
Come on, Lions are going to dominate.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, will be fine.
Lions are on Monday Night Football with that team.
It's going to be hard to watch.
Please go watch the Peyton Eli broadcast. That was fun to watch last night.
That was super fun to watch.
I will watch
in overtime.
that. Yeah, I will watch that all day for the Lions Packers. That'll be a lot more fun than there's a regular old game. It's going to be ugly for us Lions fans.
But
not going to be fun.
You don't have to worry about Green Bay, guys. Yep. I don't know. Do you worry about, because for me, definitely I don't worry about Devontae and I don't worry about Aaron Rodgers. Do you worry about the run game at all?
No, I'm not worried about it. I just think that was just a strange. It got away quick, and they just, I don't know, it like shut it down. It was strange, and I'm just not going to concern myself too much. So, not going to worry. I say that's pretty much all I have, except one more guy who wasn't as bad, but there's some concern. Derrick Henry. So here's my thing with Derrick Henry is Tennessee has not really. They've been able to be close in games and winning games a lot the last couple of years, and when that happens, Derrick Henry runs the ball in the fourth quarter and just runs, just wears down defenses, right? And then breaks one. If Tennessee isn't as good, like I don't know what this was. This probably won't be the case. But if Tennessee is down more in games like this and they can't run the ball, Derrick Henry's not a receiving threat. There's a big concern there if Tennessee is not good. They have to be good for Derrick Henry to be good. Because as soon as they're not really, doing it, Derrick Henry's just not a big receiving threat right now. And they're not going to be able to wear down defenses in the fourth quarter just running the ball. They're going to have to try to pass from behind. So that's just it. Not really concerned yet, but it's just something to watch out for depending on what the Titans are. Are they better than what they showed in week one? Because week one was not good for them. They did not come out and play. So I don't know how you feel about Derrick Henry. Probably not like as concerned yet, but just something to watch.
Yeah. Once again, it's a running back. So it's a lot of game flow. He doesn't catch the ball. And it was a bad game for him, and that's fine. But he will have some really large games. Yeah, I'm not worried about him at all. He shouldn't be falling off. There was no injury. There was really not a turnover in coaching. I don't see where that would go awry. I do have one more for you because you mentioned him, and he didn't have a very good game. But the targets are there, so I assume you still like him because you mentioned you would rather have him than Evans. But Allen Robinson.
I'm good. I'm good.
Chicago
I'm
right
good.
now with Dalton. I mean, do you think that Fields will take over and he'll be better for him? Because now, Fields, even with Dalton, 6 catches with 11 targets, but only for 35 yards. Like, it is not a promising start, but Allen Robinson does find a way to get it done usually.
I'm not concerned about Allen Robinson. And Justin Fields will take over this team at some point here. It'll be maybe not the first month of the season, but he's taken over. He will take over. And Allen Robinson, I wasn't surprised about that output. I put him like mid-20s on my final ranks this past weekend. The Rams, good pass defense. Jalen Ramsey out there, they're very tough. So I wasn't worried about that. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be a great game for him, and I was going against him, so I wasn't even that worried. So I felt good. So yeah, Allen Robinson, not concerned right now. I'm really not. I don't care. Even with Andy Dalton, I'm fine with Andy Dalton as this quarterback, as these matchups get, a little easier for him playing Cincinnati this week. I think we should see a good Allen Robinson week. But all right, there we go. That's all I have for you guys this week. We have one more episode. We're going to be doing Thursday night reaction. What do we got? Oh, I should look at the schedule here. I don't even know what the game is. Thursday night football. What do we got this week? I'm going to pull it up. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll find out. Week 2. Giants at Washington. Can't wait. You excited?
Maybe I will be wrong on Saquon. That'd be great. It'd be fun to watch him go. But Giants, I don't think so. I don't think it's getting any better for Saquon in week 2.
No, this we like to do these Thursday night. We'll do the reaction right after that game ends. So go check us out on YouTube. Get the notifications going on there. YouTube.com/fantasyfootballprofit. We start recording this thing the second the game's over. Even if the game's a blowout, we'll start recording slightly before that, and we'll get that episode out real quick so you guys have a quick reaction to what we think about what went down in the game for really fantasy football purposes. But we got Giants Washington this week. Next week it's Carolina versus Houston. Then it's Jacksonville Cincinnati. Man, first 3 weeks might not be these next 3 weeks might not be that great. But then we got Rams Seahawks. So just hold tight. Rams Seahawks coming up. But then there's Jets Falcons. Man, what's going on? going on with this Thursday night schedule? We got Rams Seahawks coming up, right? That'll be a good one.
At least you have Monday Night Football, and then
this is great. You know what's funny? You
know
what's funny? I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this schedule. It's awesome. This shows you what's going on. So those 3 games I told you, the next 3 games, which are all like, this is interesting, all on NFL Network, right? That Rams Seahawks game, Fox comes in, and then it goes back to NFL Network for a week, and it's Jets Falcons. But then Fox comes back and it's Bucks Eagles. Then Fox comes back, it's Broncos Browns. Fox is still there, and it's Packers Cardinals. So Fox knows how to pick them, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say that'll be a fun one.
So there's some really good ones coming up on those Thursday night games, but we'll have that reaction right away for you. YouTube.com/fantasy football profit. Put that notification on there so you guys can go check that out as soon as we get that episode up right after the game. But all right, that'll do it. Talk to you guys then.